the Gemara in Bava Kama Daf Hey Amud Aleph. We're picking up where we left off in class. We were discussing why Rabbi Yoshaya does not include as many Avot Nezikin as Rabbi Chia does. It's 11 fewer. So we're figuring out which ones he left off the list and why. If you remember, we just finished discussing why he doesn't include Edom Zomin. The working theory is that he doesn't include things that are Knas. He only includes things that are Mammon. And so now we are going to ask about a few more categories and why he doesn't include them. Ha'onas v'hamefate v'hamotzi shemra d'mamonahu litne. This is another challenge. These things, ones, mefate, and motzi shemra, which you should now be able to define, these are all mammon, and so really shouldn't he have included them? And here's the response. Manafshach. Either way, meaning either way he shouldn't have included them. It's okay that he didn't. In nezek, tanale. If these are nezek payments, so those are already included on the list. Itzar, and if these are all tsar payments, tanale. That's also already been included on the list. Iboshet, tanale. And if it's boshet, that's also already been taught. Ipigam, if it's damage that the person is worth less now, hainu nezek. That's the same as nezek. So really, there's no reason why it should have been included separately on the list, because in fact, these were all already included. Ma'it l'chalamemar, knasa. So what have you got to say? Right? Meaning what remains? Knasa, the only piece of the ones, mefata, or motzi shemra payments that remain are the knas portions. But knasa lo kamairi, and he's not dealing with knas, so that's why he doesn't include these on the list. This is really all part of the answer. Hamitameh v'hamidameh v'haminasech d'mamonahu litne. Here's the next challenge. Why doesn't he include mitameh, midameh, and minasech? Someone who makes someone else's produce tameh. Someone makes it ritually impure. Someone who mixes in truma with chulin, so that if you're not a kohen, you can't actually eat it anymore. V'haminasech, someone who makes someone's wine essentially treif, because they use it or they allow it to be used for avodah zarah. So in all those cases, dimamonahu, those are all mammon cases, and so shouldn't those have been included in the list as well? That's the challenge. Manashach. Nope, either way it's going to be okay. I hezek she'eino nikar shmei hezek. Hatanalei. If hezek she'eino nikar, unrecognizable damage that you can't see, if that's really a form of damage, so then it's been taught already, because nezek was taught already. Oh, sorry, hatanalei nezek. I hezek she'eino nikar lo shmei hezek. Havale knasa. Uva knasa lo kamari. And if he holds that unrecognizable damage is not real damage, well then this payment is nothing more than knas, and knas, as we've already said, isn't included on this list. Lema kasavar Rabbi Chia hezek she'eino nikar lo shmei hezek. Let's say that Rabbi Chia thinks that unrecognizable damage is not actually nezek, right? Maybe that's what he thinks. D'ishmei hezek hatanale nezek. Because if it was considered nezek, he already taught nezek, right? So Rabbi Chia would then have a double on his list. So maybe he really doesn't think that this is nezek. I'm going to put this in as a question. It's sort of trying out the idea. Tana hizeket de minkara, v'tana hizeket de lo minkara. Well, he just wanted to teach these two things separately. It's not a double. He just wanted to teach separately nezek that is recognizable and nezek that is not recognizable. So he listed both separately to teach that. Bishlam al Tana Dizan, Tana Minyana Lama'uti Rabbi Yoshaya. Now we're switching subjects slightly. We're going back to the big picture in terms of all these different counts. Bishlama, it makes sense for our Tana, Tana Didan, right, the Tana of our Mishnah, who taught the count, his count, right, his Tanaitic count, which is 4, of course, Lama'ute de Rabbi Yoshaya, to exclude Rabbi Yoshaya's number, meaning they said, well, there's only 4, don't think that there's more than that. Rabbi Yoshaya Tana Minyan Lama'ute de Rabbi Chia. And Rabbi Yoshaya taught his list to say, no, there's not 4, there's only 13. There's not 4 and there's not 24, there's 13, right? So he was saying, well, I'm leaving off some of the ones that Rabbi Chia has on his list. But what does Rabbi Chia's list leave out? The assumption is that when you have a numbered list in Tanaitic material, there's something that they're telling you, I'm only counting this many, this thing that I didn't need to count. So what is it that Rabbi Chia wasn't counting? He has the largest number. Was there anything that he was leaving out? Lema'ute, Moser, and Mufagel. He was leaving out Moser and Mefagel, 2 other arguably kinds of damagers. Moser is someone who gives over another Jew for committing a crime to, gives them up to non-Jewish authorities. And Mefagel really refers to a Kohen who is offering somebody else's sacrifice, offering a korban on behalf of somebody else, and has the wrong thought in mind while they do one of the core pieces of the avoda, and that invalidates the sacrifice. It invalidates the korban. It's called pigul. So his list of 24 doesn't include those 2 categories. Velitne. Okay, so why does he leave them out? Let him teach them. I'll put that as the challenge. Bishama Mefagel, makes sense that he left out Mefagel, the person who messes up the korban, but Kachim lo kamaire, because he's just not dealing with Kachim. He's not dealing with korbanot. And Mefagel, that's really a very specialized kind of damage because it only deals with korbanot. Ela Moser, my time elo tani. But Moser, right, someone who gives someone up to the authorities, why didn't he include that on the list? Shani Moser de Dibora. Ubedibora lo kamaire. Moser is different because the damage is done through speech, and his 24, he left out damages. He purposely left out damages done via speech. Bahamotu shemra de diborahu vikatani. But wait a second. Moti shemra, behold, moti shemra is speech. That is a speech act, and that he did include. So why the discrepancy? Dibora de itbe masa. Itbe masahu. That is an example of, sure, it's speech, but it's speech that includes an action. The man who accuses the woman, he's actually had sex with her first before he makes the accusation, so there's an act involved as well as speech. Okay, but what about Edom Zoamin? He includes Edom Zoamin, and that's speech that has no action, right? All they did was testify, turns out, in a lying, scheming, false way against other people. Oops. Ma'asehu should be. Ma'asehu v'katani. Sorry. V'ha'idim zomin dibor deleipe ma'asehu v'katani. Right, he includes that on his list, so why not also include Moser? Hatam afagav deleipe ma'aseh, rachmana karye ma'aseh. There, even though there's no actual act when it comes to Edom Zomin, the Torah refers to it as an act. Dichtiv va'asitem lo ka'asher zamam la'asot la'chiv. Right, that because it says there that you should punish the Edom Zoamin in the way that he plotted to do to his brothers, right, to the other people. So since it's referred to as speech with a ma'aseh, it gets included on the list, and it's not treated as speech without a ma'aseh. One last point about these different counts. Bishlamel Tana Didan, it makes sense for our Tana, the Tana of our Mishnah. Tana avot michlal de'ika toladot uses the word avot, remember, back in our Mishnah, because there are also toladot. Ela Rabbi Chia v'Rabbi Yoshaya avot michlal de'ika toladot toladotehan ma'inihu. But when it comes to Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yoshaya, do we think that all of those avot, are those avot actually avot that have toladot? Are those real avot? What's the deal with those? If they have toladot, what are they? Ma'inihu, right? What are they? Amar Rabbi Abahu. Rabbi Abahu answers this question. Kulan ka'avot l'shalem meitav. They're called avot not because they have toladot, but because they are all like avot in the sense that you have to pay from the best, as with the avot in our Mishnah. So they're treated as avot, or they're called avot for that reason. My taima, what's the reason? Meaning, okay, you have to pay from the best, but how do we know, or what's the reason that you have to pay from the best in all of those cases? And the answer is Atya Tachat Netina. I'm putting these in quotes. Yishalem and Kesef. The answer is we have a series of Gzera Shavas. If you don't remember what a Gzera Shava is, you can look that up. We have a bunch of different Gzera Shava acts based on the following words. We have a Gzera Shava that uses the word Tachat. We have a Gzera Shava that uses the word Netina. We have a Gzera Shava that uses the word Yishalem. And we have a Gzera Shava that uses the word Kesef. Somehow, if you put together all those Gzera Shavas, you figure out that in all of those cases referred to by Rabbi Yoshaya and Rabbi Chia, you have to pay from the best of your land, the best of your property, to make up for all of those damages. Okay, we'll pause there.